Okay, welcome to module number 2, video 1. In this video, we're going to go through one of the more typical types of text completions. In fact, it's so typical you don't really notice it. So I'm going to introduce this idea of the no-shift text completion. And it's not as complicated as the shift. Oftentimes, when we are dealing with no shift, we are looking for words like likewise, in fact, indeed, so, just as, so too, etc. Okay, what does that actually mean in terms of sentences? Well, let's have a look. In public, she was blank, and at home she also kept to herself. Okay, so here's this and, so we can see that the two parts of the sentence are similar. She seems to want to keep to herself, therefore she is quiet, not social, etc. And therefore reserved is the answer. Again, there's no shift going on here. There's not really any difference. There's definitely similarities between the two parts of the sentence. And again, this is a no-shift sentence. So what happens when we have a shift? Let's look here. In public, she was the life of the party. Yet, at home she was, well, she was the opposite of the life of the party. How do we know it's the opposite? Well, this word yet. And that's called a shift, a sentence shift. And we're going to be dealing a lot with the shifts in the next module. But for now, we're going to be focusing on the no shifts. Okay, we'll back to this question really quickly. Again, you want to notice the difference in the sentence with the yet. And you also, of course, now that this is a shift, you also want to come up with the correct answer. So again, if she was the life of party in public, at home, she was, the opposite. She was reserved. And there we go. That's the difference between the two. Now, it's going to get a little bit more difficult. In fact, okay, it's going to get a lot more difficult than that. So, for instance, it looks like a GRE text completion. And indeed, here it is. So, just as cultural context can help inform interpretations of a novel, so too. And so with that construction, you can see, there's no contrast, there's no shift going on here in the sentence. Everything matches up. So if cultural context helps inform interpretations of the novel, so too can the blank of the historical backdrop. So, well, what can help us with understand the composer's work? The idea if we are or have a knowledge. So too can knowledge. And again, this is going back to cultural context can inform, can provide us knowledge. So cultural context is similar here to historical backdrop. So cultural context informs, historical backdrop gives us knowledge. And reading the sentence on, now we know more about Beethoven's Ninth, which celebrates the unity between mankind during a particularly fractious time for Europe. Again, sometimes you don't even really need to read the whole sentence as long as you note the important parts. So, important parts again, just as, so too. And then we follow, of course, our basic strategies. You'll notice I looked for some clues here in the context, kind of came up with my own word. And then, of course, we want to match with answer. Knowledge of would be familiarity with. And there we have it, our basic no-shift text completion.